Hi everybody, this is the Baseball Head, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the People's Champion. Your host, the Head, and welcome back to the Baseball Head 2. Hope you like this video and subscribe. We're going to talk about the Chicago Cubs. Believe it or not. I know that's a big thing here in New York. It's talking about the Cubbies. But the Cubs are going to be very active this offseason. They're going to be desperate to get another bat in that lineup because obviously they missed postseason by one game. And that one game could have taken them to the World Series, which is the one game they missed out on, because obviously the Diamondbacks were in the World Series and the Marlins got the postseason, and the Cubs were left at the doorstep, outside looking in. Now they've been sort of a bad team the last few years, but they've sort of been incrementally improving. In 2021 they won 71 games. Last year they won 74 games, and this year they won 83 games and just missed the postseason. They've sort of rebuilt their farm system. It's a much better system than it had been, obviously. They traded a lot of the players to build a World Series champion, and some of those players have played for the Cubs and have gone on to other teams like Anthony Rizzo and Kyle Bryant. Chris Bryant, Kyle Schwarber. But here we got from Fansided. A lot of stuff in this video, so you need to sort of stick with it. Here's the headline for Fansided. Cubs rumors, Juan Soto package, Kyle Hendricks doubt, and Mets steal. Who could the Cubs trade for Juan Soto? Kyle Hendricks' contract extension is not a guarantee in Chicago, and the New York Mets target Cubs executive to lead scouting department. First up, New York Mets could steal Cubs executive Dan Kantrovitz. Dan Kantrovitz is the Chicago Cubs vice president of scouting, though he could receive a promotion rather soon if Chicago isn't careful. Kantrovitz is reportedly being pursued by the Mets to lead their scouting department, which is a step up from his current position. From John Morosi, source, the Mets have had discussions about hiring Dan for a high-level position overseeing their amateur scouting and player development departments. Kantrovitz is currently the Cubs vice president of scouting. Chicago just lost Craig Breslow to the Boston Red Sox, who was hired to replace Hein Bloom as president of baseball operations. Having Kantrovitz leave as well would be a huge hit to their front office. The Cubs have one of the better farm systems in baseball, headlined by Pete Crow Armstrong, who was acquired in the Javi Baez deal. From Sports Illustrated's Matthew Postins, Kantrovitz has overseen the development of Chicago's prospect system, which ranks top 5 in MLB per MLB pipeline. Quote, Kantrovitz has been responsible for leading the Cubs farm system, which has progressed into one of the best in baseball. That work paid off late this season with the call-ups of outfielder Pete Crow Armstrong, outfielder Alexander Canario, and pitcher Jordan Wicks. With the Mets potentially rebuilding for the 25 season, developing a strong farm system is critical. We've mentioned about the Mets system. If you're a Cubs fan, they've done a lot of work over the last 2 years in terms of the draft and the trade deadline this year. They brought in a lot of talent, mostly position player talent. The Mets do not have a very strong pitching talent pool that they brought in the last 2 years, but it's gotten better than the players that they've had over the last 3 drafts. So now, what's going to happen with right-handed pitcher Kyle Hendricks? Well, it's funny you should ask. If you watch this video, you want to know. From Fanside, MLB rumors. By no means will Kyle Hendricks sign an extension with the Cubs. The professor has a $16.5 million option with the Cubs this season, so there's a good chance he could stay around. Recent reporting around the situation is clouded, though, as it's unclear whether Hendricks would be open to a contract extension to lessen his asking price. This would give him a multi-year deal and allow the Cubs to have more financial flexibility. However, Jesse Rogers of ESPN has said there haven't been any extension talks as of now. Quote, I've been told that it is not happening. If anything, the Cubs will exercise the option. There's a chance they could talk in March, spring training, but I don't think he's going to sign an extension anytime soon. I don't discount the chance of signing up another contract, but I just don't think it's imminent or around the corner. I don't think they've had any discussions about the long-term deal. First step will be the option. In the end, the Cubs don't have much of a choice in this matter. Hendricks could opt into the final year of his contract, thus adding more money to Chicago's payroll. If he's not open to taking less for Jed Hoyer's sake, that's not his fault. And finally in this video, Juan Soto. Who could the Cubs offer in a Juan Soto trade? Now the Cubs, like I said, they are looking to make a deal for a big player. They're gonna talk to Shohei Ohtani. They've been talking to the Mets. I don't think the Mets will be trading Pete Alonso anytime soon. And the rumor now is that the Cubs are going to talk to the Padres for Juan Soto. They do have a better farm system than the New York Yankees, who've also been rumored to want to make a deal for Soto. The Cubs are expected to be in on the Juan Soto chase this offseason, joining the Yankees as the only other team known to be interested. Chicago used another big bat, especially with Cody Bellinger potentially leaving this offseason. The only matter in the way of potentially acquiring Soto would be his long-term commitment, as he's expected to enter free agency after the 24th season. As Bruce Levine explains, the Padres are exploring offers for Soto due to his contract status. The 25-year-old Soto, a three-time All-Star, could be a high-profile addition for any team that is willing to meet the Padres' price. The reason the Padres will list the trade offers on him is because they're looking to pare down their large payroll after a disappointing 82-80 campaign, and want to add younger talent with more contract control. As Soto has just one season left on his contract before he's set to hit free agency, moving him is perhaps the best way to do that. Even though Soto will be on an expiring contract next season, a full season of his service will not come cheap if the Cubs were to enter negotiations with the Padres. Some prospects San Diego could target include Pete Crow Armstrong, who the Cubs surely will not be willing to part ways with. PSA made a brief cameo in the majors this season as one of the best defensive players in the minor leagues. His bat has also improved immensely over the last year, which makes him a more attractive target. There's a reason he's a top 100 prospect. Now, he was a prospect that was in the Mets system, obviously, having been drafted in 2020. But the big comp when it comes to Crow Armstrong as a player is Mark Kotsay, who's obviously the manager of the A's right now. But that's his comparison. That's what his comparison was in when the Mets drafted him, and him coming. He was in the Met farm system that long. They drafted him in 2020, and they traded him the next year. So that administration did not have a chance to really sit down and watch him. But the rumor is that's what his comparison is. So he's a good prospect, but he might not be a great player, or he might be an everyday player that bounces around team to team. He might be something like that, but. You let me know what you think about this video. Of course, please subscribe to Baseball Hut too, and I'll see you later.